right, folks, sit back, take a deep breath. It's over. Utah State got the win, 84-81. It doesn't matter how we got here. The fact is Utah State won this game and now stay at 7-0 on the season. Not without a whole lot of drama, though. Utah State, again, gets the victory in OT. Today's postgame show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Brandon Jensen. Contact him at 435-752-4800. It's your future. Time to protect it. Well, MJ Collins with 23 points. Mason Falsled with 17. Templin with 15. Colby King with 11. But here's the stat that you pointed out that I think is really important. Utah State entered overtime. They were 10 of 18 from the free throw line. They finished the game 18 of 26, which means Utah State in overtime in pressure situations went 8 for 8 from the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, MJ Collins' free throws to even send it to overtime, really, really important. And then Kobe, Drake, Mason, MJ again stepping up and knocking down those free throws. Not easy situations to be in when you've got, 10,000, probably 8,000, 9,000 eyes on you. And if you don't, you're in big trouble. So a lot of credit to those guys for having the courage to step up and make those shots.
It's a different kind of pressure when you're hitting 2 free throws against San Diego State late in a game. But when it's Montana State and everybody's expecting you to win this game,
that's true.
That's probably another, maybe not more pressure, but a different kind of pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and MJ's were the biggest ones, if you ask me. When you're down 2 and you need both of them in order to tie it, not easy whatsoever. But Drake Allen,
I know,
stepping up and knocking those 2 because, Miller, those 2 threes at the end of the game to just keep it interesting. Man, great job by Montana State. Have a lot of respect for those guards. And then that coach, he's a good coach.
There's a reason why he's won everywhere he's gone. At Whitworth, Point Loma, now at Montana State. And Washington State tried to make a run at him, and Montana State was able to keep him. So this is a really good coach, and he'll be coaching a lot of wins for Montana State before it's all said and done.
Yeah, you look at the teams they've left. Colorado, who's 7-0 in the Big 12, has started the season really, really well. Boise State, who's a good Mountain West team. I don't think they're great this year, but good. And then Stanford as well, and 1 or 2 other ones. But, they're going to look back at these margin of loss, 3 points, 2 points. So they're in every single one of those. Yeah, they're going to give Weber State, they're going to give Portland State, they're going to give Montana, they're going to give all the teams in the Big Sky Conference everything they can handle, and I'd expect them to be near the top for sure.
Dex Imaging, the nation's largest independent business solution, providing, selling, and servicing the broadest selection of copiers, printers, and data security solutions. Learn more at deximaging.com. We'll take a break. You'll hear from Jerrod Calhoun coming up next on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield.
Utah winters come fast. Is your car ready? Don't miss this special at Master Auto Tech. Right now, buy 3 tires and get 1 free for up to $200 off. Why pay for 4 when you can get 1 for free? With 22 locations, including Logan, Brigham City, and Ogden, it's easy to get rolling. Don't wait. This special offer ends December 31st. Visit masterauto.tech and drive safe this winter.
Your trusted, helpful expert, Master Auto Tech.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
Addiction is something in this day and age I think all of us have been touched by in some form or way. For me, 14 years ago, I lost my father to an opioid overdose. Addiction is something that whether you're struggling with it personally or you're watching someone you love struggle with it, it can feel like there's no hope. If you've lost hope or you're scared for someone that you love and you don't see hope on their path, call Renaissance Ranch today. You can learn more at renaissanceranch.net. They have a location right here in Logan.
Over the past few years, strong and crazy weather patterns have battered various parts of the country. Northern Utah and southern Idaho are not immune from its share of wild weather. Be prepared for power outages with a Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. They are your local source for Generac sales and service. Generac keeps you in control when bad weather strikes. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
This Utah State Aggie broadcast is brought to you by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Comfort is their business. On News Talk KVNU, where our true colors have always been Aggie blue and white.
Plenty of drama in this one. A lot to learn from, a lot to build from. As Jerrod Calhoun, I'm sure, it was interesting. We saw a really, I'm trying to think of the right word to use, a very animated Jerrod Calhoun after the Weber State game. They won that game by 10, but he was not thrilled with his team's performance. There's a lot to be proud of for your team. You don't like the fact that you're in a wire-to-wire game with Montana State, but you also have to be happy about the way your guys responded to some adversity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Coach is going to be complimentary. He'll be upset about some stuff. There's absolutely some stuff to be upset about. Rebounding, number one. The fact that you got out-rebounded 43-37, that's just toughness. And Montana State came in, and they were the tougher team in a lot of aspects of this, especially on the boards. But when you winning plays, Coach is going to be really happy with the winning plays, the charges, the deflections, all of those plays that made a difference in it. We'll see. We'll see, Scotty. You asked the first question. We'll see what he has to say.
Jerrod Calhoun joining us. And Coach,
let's talk about Spencer's jump shot at practice.
Well, yeah, he said he can't get after Carson for shooting.
Carson's got the green line in my book. I will never critique him again.
But look at this outfit he had on. It's hard to shoot with the jeans and a long sleeve shirt. So
Coach, the spirit of Stu Morrill was shaking his head and is like, that's exactly why I yelled at you and told you not to shoot that.
Oh, that was fun.
Coach, that game probably took a year or two off the old ticker.
Yeah, really the last 3 days, Scotty. This is usually how it works. When you have bad practices, you play really poor. It's like some rocket science, some science project. If you have bad practices, you usually play bad. But first of all, give Montana State. Forget us. We stunk tonight. But that's another story. Montana State's a good team. They should have beat Stanford. They should have beat Boise State, and they should have beat Colorado. We watched it. We preached it. We talked it. I don't know. I don't blame the coaches tonight. I really don't, and I don't blame the assistants because I screamed at them for 3 days. So, and I just screamed at them again. But, it's the same song and dance. We had 3 really bad practices. Thanksgiving was just an absolute disaster. I almost pulled the Bob Huggins and made him come back at 9 o'clock at night. There was many times over the years we'd bring the boys back after Thanksgiving. I went absolutely nuts on Thanksgiving. Friday was a little better. Just there's no sense of urgency, Scotty, with today's generation. And we got very, very, very lucky. I think Matt Logie is an excellent coach. He's come up the right way. He's not a Power 4 spoiled assistant that gets thrown a head job. He's coached at every level. He's had to grind and earn it. And he's a heck of a ball coach. I respect the heck out of the guy.
I'll continue the theme. We'll get to the positive, but I'll continue the theme. I agree with you. When you win at all levels, it says something and really good. Those guards,
great coach,
really good guards.
Yeah.
Holden, Miller didn't shoot it well until the end.
Yeah.
Brown's really good, and I like those guards were really, really good. But we'll start with the bad news, then go to the good news. One of the keys to the game that I pointed out was rebounding. You guys have been out-rebounding your opponents. Montana State has not been. They've been playing against some bigger opponents. You guys got out-rebounded tonight. Was it just complacency? And I always look at toughness, and Montana State came out as the tougher team for sure.
That's what I told them at halftime. We're getting absolutely punked. It was +9. It finished +6, so we were better.
Better in the
second
half.
But like Tucker Anderson gets 1 rebound. How could you play 12 minutes? The last game he got no rebounds. There's just certain guys that got to step up, but collectively the toughness level of our team you can't sway. Like one game you want to play tough, the next you don't. There's got to be some non-negotiables that you do every game. Luckily we took care of the ball. They don't really turn you over, so luckily we did that. But that's a pain-in-the-butt defense to play against. They pack it in.
Yeah.
You got to make threes. I thought we coached we didn't make good adjustments offensively. We should have probably flared them a little bit more thinking back on it. But we missed a lot of layups in the first half. I mean, a ton of layups. It was hard to watch.
Gary Clark seemed like he struggled in this game.
Yeah, I thought Gary was terrible. Tuck was terrible. We had a lot of no-shows, guys that make good money, right? I told them the world, like, we all get paid a salary. It took me 25 years to make any money. I mean, I had a bunch of different jobs. That's what bothers you a little bit, Scotty, when you put all this time and effort into fundraising and you're doing this and that, and you don't have humility. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have some humility with what you're doing. If we would have lost and had 3 great practices, so be it. But we had 3 horrible practices, so we weren't really ready for the game because the coaches had to scream. And I don't like coaching like that, but they deserved every single thing I gave them, and I'm going to give them a whole bunch more the next 3 days.
Yeah, talking about someone who did show up, Carson Templin, 14 in the second half, couple big plays, took a charge. I always tell on air, he'll sell a call. He didn't have to sell that call. That bus went right through him. But Carson did make some really important plays, and to have 14 second-half points and overtime, that was big.
Timely. Yeah. Did an excellent job taking the charge, getting to the left hook, and probably should have gave it to him a little bit more.
When you needed to make plays, though, you guys went 8 for 8 from the free throw line.
Yeah, that I would say is the biggest thing I'm proud of. Like Falslev didn't succumb to pressure. He finally he got up there and made them. Certain guys did. Drake Allen, I think, made 2. Like, it's what we pay those guys to do. That's what they're here to do. They're seniors. They're making a lot of money in this environment. You got to produce. Like, your best players that make the money, they got to deliver, right? And I thought they delivered in some timely situations. And then, MJ, again, I thought was great. Made a lot of shots. And, he gave up a ton of points, though. Unfortunately for him, if you look at both sides, like, we're up 5, and the guy just dribbles down and shoots it in your face. Scotty, there's so many crazy plays. I've never seen anything like this. Was one of the wilder games I've coached.
Well, it's like
I thought.
Yeah, from calling it exactly the same way.
I mean, I've just never seen such stupidity by one team.
Well,
that's coaching, so we got to coach them better.
And Colby King gave you a nice little boost there in the first half offensively, but he gets lost and Miller hits that 3.
Yeah, he's one of the worst off-ball defenders we got. He's great on the ball, but you pass the ball like twice, he don't see anything, But he was horrific on Thanksgiving. Like, literally, I wanted to toss him and say, get out of the gym, and I told him. But I think anymore, Scotty, you got to call players out, and who cares? In this environment, they're all employees. We're paying them. If they don't like the truth, so be it. So we're going to coach these guys extremely hard the next 3 days. We got to make better in-game adjustments, and they got to bring themselves ready to practice because he was horrific, too, on Thanksgiving.
They got a big road trip coming up, and honestly,
Monster.
against 2 good
it's
teams.
The whole non-conference, This will be a massive test for us. First road game, right? It's probably going to be sold out. They're doing a whiteout. They're going to be hungry, so hopefully our guys don't look at the spreads, right? Because everybody looks at these stupid spreads of 18.5. They don't look at their record, right? Like, don't quit looking at records. Everybody's 0-0, and it's hard to win on the road. So the reality of it is, guys, like, we got to be ready to go the next 3 days.
Yeah. Coach, appreciate it.
I'm ready for practice.
I bet you are. There he is.
Congrats,
Jerrod Calhoun.
Have a good one.
As Utah State.
You were there, you watched the game, or you heard it all here on KVNU. So now it's your chance to give your thoughts and ask your questions about the action as KVNU Aggie Game Day continues with Aggie Call. The phone line is 435-753-KVNU. The text line is 435-554-1175. It's KVNU Aggie Call with J.D. Walker and Stockton Jukes.
It is Aggie Call here on KVNU. The phone line open, 435-753-5868. Text line open and available for what you saw from your Utah State Aggies against the Montana State Bobcats. 435-554-1175. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk to Jalen Moore and get his thoughts. But Stockton, I just... a win is a win, but that was ugly. That was really ugly, and there was no holding back for Coach Calhoun's post-game comments. He was letting everybody know.
Rightfully so.
And in it, something that has been kind of that I've struggled with a little bit, and not really struggle, but I come from a fundraising background for a nonprofit, and I had to do fundraisers for that 501c3 and things like that just to exist. So I'm very sensitive to what people give their money to. And so Coach Calhoun mentioned it, and it's one of the things I have a red flag for with me. I'm like, you're trying to ask everyday people who are hardworking people who are dealing with all the stuff in life and the expenses and investing in a team that should have won by 20 points. That's what the spread says. So, Stockton, I'm going to grab the phone real quick, actually. We're just going to do the magic of radio here. Hi, Aggie Call. Can you turn down your radio? You're on the air.
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries. I grabbed you right as you called in, so we take a little time to reset. And what's on your mind?
No, I just wanted to make the comment of like going, well, my nails are trimmed now.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nail-biter game.
I try not to reference what happened that hurt me 24 hours ago, but
It's okay.
I'm just really in this kind of mood. And then I was like, what is going on? So, yes, nail biting, a little bit of heart.
And these guys are not as bad as team as their record says.
No, Montana State, they played
a lot of really close 2-3-point games. We were kind of hearing it from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I figured, like, this isn't going to be a walkover. And they just hung around.
They did. But in this day and age, and we've kind of had the discussion and stuff, sportsmanship and other things like that, the metrics matter. And, Stockton, you already checked. We knew before we got on the air that the Aggies had dropped, and Ken Palm is one of the ratings.
They dropped 10 spots from 24 to 34, just a really, really bad showing against a team that, yeah, like you're saying, not as bad as their record, but not nearly as good as we made them look today. Not nearly as good as we made them look. And they didn't even play that well either. I mean, their shooting stats were rough at best. They were shooting 39% from the field, 30% from three. Utah State shot 47% from the field, and still somehow that game goes to overtime. It really comes down to just bad ball handling, bad distribution, bad rebounding.
Thank goodness for a couple offensive fouls.
Yeah. Carson made a couple big plays down the stretch there to keep Utah State just half a step ahead. But, boy, it's just nothing pretty about that one.
And I tell you what, Patrick McMahon, I mean, their starting guard, he was playing like rookie level on NBA 2K. Just wherever he shot it from, it seemed like it just went in. And they were hitting most of their shots. Devin Brown with the big game, 18 points. But on the aspect of it, really expecting the Aggies to show up a little bit more. When you look at somebody who stood out to you, who do you think would you give the game ball to for the performance?
Tamplin.
I agree. I think the hustle, he's got, to me, it's that X factor that I talk about, that drive that he has, that he keeps going. And, the broadcast team was talking about it. Who's going to have the energy? Who's going to jump in to get this going? At Stockton, it was Carson Templin. Thank you so much for the call here on Aggie Call.
Yeah, 15. Sorry, go ahead.
Phone line's open, 435-753-5868, and also available on the text line, 435-554-1175.
Yeah, 15 points for Carson, 26 minutes tonight. 7 for 11 shooting for the big guy, so not too bad. 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Had 8 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. Really, him and Mason were the only 2 guys that seemed interested in pulling down boards today. Only 2 fouls for Carson, only turned the ball over 1 time. So pretty solid outing there for him. And like we were saying, just some big non-numerical plays at the end of that game to draw the offensive foul and just to keep Utah State just a little bit ahead.
Phone lines open, 435-753-5868. That's 753-KVNU. Welcome to Aggie Call. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just have a question. What do you guys think is going on with Drake Allen? He just seemed why is he so hesitant to shoot the ball? He just seemed kind of out of sorts tonight.
Well, I think so. He did come back from the high ankle sprain, but this was not a good performance from Drake tonight. 5 turnovers, 3 points, 0 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point land. I think we saw a little bit of hesitation in the second half where he wasn't firing the ball off. He had 5 turnovers. He did, he was second on the team with the +6, but that's not saying a lot. I think he just had a little hesitation, and it was a rough game on the turnover-wise. I mean, he did have 3 steals, 9 assists, 1 board, but 3 points and going over from 3 in the field, that's kind of not going to do it. So just an off night, I guess. You heard Coach Calhoun said they had 3 bad practices, so that kind of moved through.
Well, you can kind of tell. I mean, the whole team looked out of sorts for a good part of the game. I mean, movement wasn't happening. Spacing looked bad at times. But, they fought through it. They got the win. Luckily, the free throws fell when they needed them to. So we'll take it any way we can get it. But we're actually going to go to the South Florida game, so I hope they play a lot better down there. So.
Well, you know what? I think when Coach Calhoun puts the fire to these guys and they get set in and they've got to sit back in the locker room right now with this, that a 3-point win in overtime to Montana State, and their resume, you got to build it through the whole season. So I have a feeling, and Stockton, chime in on this, I have a feeling that going out to see them play in South Florida, they might actually turn on the gas.
I think Calhoun's going to have them in a headlock for the next 3 days, so they should come out firing this next week. And it's just sounds like a great place to go to a game too. I'd love to be back in Tampa right now. If you've got time, I'd recommend going out to Clearwater on the Gulf Coast out there. It's a great spot to be at on the beach. But you guys have a great time with that.
Yeah, we're catching a Buccaneers game while we're out there, and then turns out the Aggies are playing, so we're going to see them too. So we'll have a good trip. So
enjoy that, man, but go Falcons.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, safe travels, man. Thanks for calling Aggie Call. Phone line's open, 435-753-5868. That's 753-KVNU. The text line also available at 435-554-KVNU, or 435-554-1175.
There you go.
That's 435-554-1175. And you know what? I'm actually doing better because it's been a while since I've almost given out my personal cell phone number, which is kind of rough. Coming to the text line, 8968. Also, Stockton, where are we at? USU up 1-0 set-wise over Colorado State.
Just took a 2-point lead late in the second set, right?
Yep, and up 20-18 right now. We've got it on the big screen behind us, so we'll keep you up to date on that as we're going through. But to the text line right now, 8968. We have actually... Hey, Gio, what's going on, man?
Clockwork.
Hey, JD.
long time no talk. What'd you see? Help talk me down off the ledge, which is a curb, by the way. I decided last night driving home that the ledge I sit on is a curb. So that way if I fall, I'll only sprain an ankle or something. But help me out here, Gio. I'm trying to be super positive. It was a really, really ugly win.
Well, I don't think I'm your guy today, JD.
Oh, man. All right.
I can't talk you off the curb. That was rough, but grateful to get the win and to see this team who makes Stockton sit up in bed in cold sweats the way they shoot free throws actually.
Oh my gosh!
Be clutch at the end, and it reminds me of when Shaquille O'Neal used to say, "I make them when they count." Guess what, boys? They all count. So let's get it together.
Amen. My dad always used to say, you got to make your foul pitches, and every time someone goes to the stripe, I can hear that in the back of my head on a loop.
Yeah, I bet. Well, the first thing I wanted to start, and I know all of the good refs are at holiday MTEs, getting a nice vacation in the Virgin Islands or Florida, right? And we got these chuckleheads. So
chuckleheads.
I feel bad. They're the substitutes, whatever they were. I think they were from Logan High as well. The band did great. Astute band. But I've never seen so many that I felt they got wrong. That said, it shouldn't have mattered. There's no world in which we should be out-rebounded like that to Montana State, who doesn't rebound well anyway. Rebounds, I think free throws were at 55% before they buckled down on that. And I'm glad we won, but in the end, even as a win, this game's going to cost us a seed line. Or even if things don't go as well as we hope this year, this is a kind of game that keeps you out of the tournament. So,
and Gio, that kind of plays into this text, and I'm going to squeeze this in with us at 8968.
Sure.
This won't do the Ken Palm any good, but I'll take it. Montana State was scrappy, but Stockton just said 24-34, Gio, and that's, I know we're really, really young into the season, but looking at the chaos that is the other teams in the Mountain West, the conference may not have that strength to pull through an at-large bid, of course, really early. So
Mountain West is looking like a max 2-bid league right now.
Yeah, you got to do
Max 2-bid.
everything to get to make your resume look great.
We may be a max 1-bid league, fellas, and right now we're the tallest dwarf with this game. So, and that's who's rebounding out there, right? We really gotta get it together. And I know that somebody said earlier that this was a really good team. They're not. This is not a good team. We made them look good by not playing well.
Yeah, they're better than their record, I think, just because that record isn't very friendly. I think they're 3-5 now overall, but they're just everyone all week was saying, no, Montana State's really good, really good, really good. Not really. They're okay. They're probably one of the best in the Big Sky, but the Big Sky is worse off than the Mountain West. And you just, I remember saying this to JD during the second half, Gio, but that kind of a rebounding performance, Stu Morrill's probably cursing out the sky right now somewhere. He's probably sick to his stomach over that.
Him and your dad, right?
Oh, my gosh.
One thing I appreciate about Coach Calhoun, though, is he doesn't sugarcoat it.
Amen.
I was like, wow, he's singeing people's ears right now with that.
Yeah.
And that's for the radio. That's what he has to worry about with the SEC. Anyway, hey, let's get the win next week or whenever the South Florida game is. Get this road trip out of the way and go Aggies. I know they can. They're better than this, and they'll continue to prove it. So,
hey, Gio, just so you know, when you say we're the tallest dwarf standing, I picture the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
I mean, with the big red beard, I've got to go that way. So that is going to be in my head every time you call from now on. Gio, thanks, and safe travels home, my friend.
We'll see you. Good night, guys.
We're listening to Aggie Call here on KVNU, 610 AM, Logan, Utah, and 1021 FM. And going back to the phone lines open at 435-753-5868. Thanks for holding on. You're on Aggie Call. What's on your mind? Hey, Jack, you there?
I think, yeah, this is Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Coach Calhoun called out the players for paying too much attention to the spread. And I'm going to call you guys out for paying too much attention to the spread.
Okay.
I mean, before the game, I was listening to you, and you guys were predicting a 20-point Aggie win.
Yep.
You got to remember, Montana State played us very tough last year too. We won that game too, but they exposed our matchup zone and actually showed the rest of the conference how to attack it. I agree. Montana State is well coached and they're tough, but. We'll take the overtime win for sure.
But talent and NIL and the investment of the community in this team, you have to make the win. You have to win the games you're supposed to win. The analytics, don't pay attention to the point spread, but the thing we have to pay attention to, the metrics, and this is really new for me too. Like a win's a win. It should be, but the metrics, even winning against this gritty, good Montana State team, it was so good it cost the Aggies a win, cost them 10 spots in KenPom. And we don't know what it's going to look like in the future. But, the Aggies should have done a lot better.
I'm old-fashioned enough to say we got the win, let's move on. And, I don't pay a lot of attention to KenPom. I know the selection committee does, but I'm old-fashioned enough to say let's just take each game and win it. And we'll take care of our future.
Yeah, I respect that. I was raised with the same mentality, right, where you get the win, you move on, win with grace, lose with class, keep it moving. We heard from Calhoun, though, a couple weeks ago, that mentality doesn't matter anymore, unfortunately. We live in a time where it's not about good sportsmanship and just getting the wins and moving on and letting things take care of themselves. You have to win that game by 30 points. And we missed the mark on the prediction today in the pregame, no question about it. But I'm going off a team that beat Davidson by 34 last week, and against the Montana State team that, is probably better than their record says. But I got to disagree with you and say they're not as good as Utah State, and they're not as good as some people seem to be suggesting. So, yucky game for Utah State, sloppy game, no question. But I just
it was. But if you look at the and their numbers weren't good, but they're a well-coached team, and they were not afraid of the Aggies, man. They came in ready to scrap, and they scrapped like crazy.
Yeah, they did, and they're well coached too. Calhoun hit it on the head. They've got a really good coach behind the bench for them, and They're going to be a problem in the Big Sky for sure, but that should have been a much wider gap for Utah State if they play the brand of basketball they can. But I think another thing that comes into it, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, is just Calhoun said this to Scotty. It seems to be a lack of humility with that team right now, right? Yeah. And they were spread watching. We were spread watching. It kind of counted on the fact that Utah State would come out and drop a bunch of points with relative ease.
Exactly.
Just didn't happen. Exactly. So you really got to clean stuff like that up.
We've got a good coaching staff, too, and they'll get them squared away. We're going to be fine.
I believe it, too. And I think we're actually going to put the belt on South Florida on Thursday. I think this is it's going to be a rough couple days in practice for them, but I think they're going to pull their heads out and find some of that humility.
Yeah, it will be.
Hey, Jack, who was your player of the game before you go? Who was your player of the game tonight?
I would say Mason Falslev because he was everywhere. He made key buckets late. He made those free throws late. He came up with some steals and some rebounds. I know that we had other people scoring, but that's my player of the game for sure.
I think Mason gets the Bryson Barnes Award for this game. Like all heart carrying at the end there, you saw fighting, throwing the elbows out of there, and then some of those steals and stuff were just amazing. Yeah. So I totally agree. Hey, Jack, thanks for calling KVNU Aggie Call. We're going to go ahead and take a break here real quick. Always appreciate you guys sounding off. We're going to get connected with Jalen Moore and also plenty of text to get through. 435-554-1175. The phone line also open, 435-753-KVNU. That's 753-5868.
This Thanksgiving, Adams Wealth Advisors is grateful for you, our clients, and our community. It's our sincerest wish that as you host or travel to meet loved ones, safety follows you wherever you may be. Adams Wealth Advisors is here to help you secure your financial future so you can focus on what truly matters. Happy Thanksgiving from Adams Wealth Advisors, building your legacy and protecting your peace of mind. Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com to learn more.
The home for Utah State Aggie fans. KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM. Covering Aggie football like no one else does.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. The Medicare annual enrollment period is here, and now's your chance to compare plans and get coverage that really works for you. Whether it's a Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage plan, or a prescription drug plan, we'll walk you through your options personally. Call 752-9493 to speak with a licensed agent right here in Cache Valley. No pressure, no cost, just local help you can count on. Don't wait. Annual enrollment ends December 7th. Call LSS Insurance 752-9493.
Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning and Advanced Fireplace and Stove want to help local families this year with a food drive. Drop your canned foods off at the Advanced Fireplace and Stove showroom across from DI or hand them to one of their technicians when they come to your home for a repair. The Advanced team will match all contributions and offer the first month free when joining the Advanced Comfort Club. Find out more at advancedheating-ac.com. Donate to the Advanced Canned Food Drive for local families.
Ski season is coming, which means Season Ski Rentals. This is Mark at the Sportsman, where we have over 20 years of season ski rental experience. We rent to kids and adults. Come in to get season ski rentals for your entire family. We like to wait a little later in the fall because there is a chance your kids might grow out of their boots by the time ski season actually rolls around. You will get the right gear for your kids to ski this year at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Winter's here, and that old car sitting in your driveway isn't getting any warmer. Turn that frozen junker into cold, hard cash with DD Auto and Salvage in Logan. It's never too cold, too wet, or too late to clean up and cash out. DD Auto and Salvage makes it quick and easy. They'll even pick it up for you. Get the most money possible for your junk vehicle or scrap metal, and earn a little extra holiday cash while you're at it. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
And let DD Auto and Salvage pay you today. DD Auto and Salvage. Cold cars turned into hot cash.
KVNU Game Day continues with Aggie Call. More analysis about today's game and your chance to talk about it. Call 435-753-KVNU or text 435-554-1175.
Welcome back to Aggie Call. The A is blue on top of Old Main. It may not have been pretty, but it got the job done. Stockton, quick update on the volleyball game real quick, please.
Just started that third set in Las Vegas. Looks like it's 2-1 Utah State early. Kendall Hone with the serve. So the Aggies trying to make this a lot less stressful than last night was. But we had a text come in a little bit ago that feels appropriate to go ahead and nod to right now. 6521 says, breathe deep. In volleyball, we trust. I've never mistrusted Rob Nielsen a day in my life. That's the guy that you want leading your team. And him and Manny Martins, too. Manny getting the 5-year extension the other day for Utah State. This is only up, baby.
Yeah,
only up.
It's been a roller coaster week, and we're not going to mention the events of yesterday just yet. But Jalen Moore joining us on the phone line here for Aggie Call. Jalen, our predictions are a little bit off. That's why I don't sports gamble or sports bet or anything. Not only that it's illegal here in our great state, but the fact that I'm not good at it, Jalen, at all.
Yeah, it's just that was like I said kind of before, it's just one of those games where it had so much potential to be a trap game. I was honestly on your guys' side 100%. I thought we were going to go in there and take care of business, make it look easy. But Montana State, they came to play, and they've shown up at every big game they play. You know, like I said, they've only lost games by single digits. So they are a good team. They shouldn't be overlooked, and they've played a hard non-conference schedule. So don't be surprised if this is a team that makes some noise in their conference, because I was actually impressed with the way they played. But I do think that we made some mistakes, didn't play as well as we usually do either. So give Montana State some credit as well, but at the same time, our guys did do what we needed to do at the end of the day to win the game. So it is a win in the column, but we do have to improve in some areas.
Going to the text line here, Jalen, and this one coming from 1326. The Aggies played really bad transitional defense. This game exposed a lot of deficiencies. The refs also heavily influenced the game. I'm going to ask you, did you see some deficiencies from our Aggies? You kind of heard Coach mention in the postgame that they didn't have great practices this week. And so maybe it just kind of a product of, not some great practices. Did you see any deficiencies that were exposed against Montana State?
Yeah, and honestly, we looked a little bit tired at times, I thought. And usually we're the team that does run in transition. I thought Montana State did a good job at that. They got a lot of kick-ahead threes. They got the ball up the court, easy baskets. And then the other biggest thing that I noticed, like offensive rebounds, they really hurt us. And then almost every 50-50 ball seemed to go to Montana State. So I think those are some things that we definitely have to work on, especially as we start getting into conference play and playing some of these other teams. If we give, like a like with San Diego State, Colorado State, something, all those possessions, we probably don't win the game.
Moving on up the text line here, Jalen, it looks like 6391 says, I was getting nervous at the end, realizing that the Brown family rarely loses at the Spectrum. That's a funny one. 9315, though, says, each win has a different value, but you're right, a win is a win. I want to double check this here because we've done a lot of talking over the last couple weeks about the metrics, right? And about you got to win by a ton of points, and it doesn't really matter if you get the win. You got to win by what you're expected to win by. Are you thinking that a win is a win here, or are you going to be thinking about this game at the end of February?
Yeah, I hope it's not a situation like that, because I personally think Montana State's going to be good in their conference. So I think at the end of the day, at the end of the year, it could be a win where, we were supposed to beat them by more, but it could end up being a decent win if they do well in conference. So I think they're going to surprise some people. I thought they had solid players. They had a couple go-to guys that could get big baskets. So at the end of the day, like we said, we win. I think if we go on throughout the season, we have some other big-time wins against some conference opponents. I think this also could kind of be a win that gets a little bit swept under the rug and people don't really mention or think about it as much because we get some other big wins. So I think that's what we need to do going forward.
Kind of piggybacking off on that 6543 on the text line. The text line available to you right now, 435-554-1175. This is from 6543. And Jalen and Stockton, please, I think we've kind of covered it just a little bit, but this will do us no good with the committee come NCAA tournament time. Really kind of early to see that. But with the metrics, this is kind of what I was thinking, and Jack got me thinking along this realm. If we get to the end and say we don't win the Mountain West Championship, and the metrics just keep you that close. Is this one of those games, projecting a great season, that you could go back and say, man, if we would have covered the point spread or made that a, I guess, prettier win? I mean, is that a fear right now, or is it still too early in the season? I don't remember having this much uncertainty this early last season, and maybe I was just naive, guys.
It was also because the Mountain West was good last year, so you knew you were going to have a couple at-large bids in the conference. It's not the case this year.
So, Jalen, do you think, what are your thoughts on committee time tournament? I know that's a long time away, but is there anything that kind of flags you from this performance that might come back to haunt us?
Yeah, for sure. And I do actually agree with Stockton with that, too. Like, I think the Mountain West is it's still a good conference, but not as good as it has been in the past. So I think there's going to be almost some games where they're just you cannot lose them, in conference. So I think there's going to be some situations with some pressure like that. And this could be a game like that. But honestly, I think we look at it as a win, because here's how I also look at it. Like, we beat Davidson by 34 as well. Like, there's certain other games I think that they're going to take into consideration too, that could end up, kind of canceling each other out. As long as we take care of business, win games, do well in the conference, I think come February, we have the potential to be sitting in a pretty good spot. Hey, Kevin, thanks for calling in your score prediction. Kevin's stopping by right now, the studio, picking up his Cafe Sabor gift card. We appreciate you, Kevin, for listening. Yep. Up next on the text line, it's available to you at 435-554-1175. That's 435-554-1175. 6021. Drake had a lot of turnovers. He lost it for us before overtime. Jalen, I'm going to let you, because I've kind of got the thing this is a team game, and we worked this out. Don't know why Coach didn't take him out. I just think it's a rough performance from that. Do you want to kind of follow up on that? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's one guy individually. I think, honestly, I don't know. I don't read too much into it. Down the stretch of pressure situation, game time decisions, some players make mistakes. That obviously wasn't a great pass, but I don't think Drake in himself lost us the game. Not lost us the game, but made it close, I personally think it came down to offensive rebounds, 50-50 balls, and just how many extra possessions that Montana State was able to get. I think that comes down to just the team effort, the energy, the enthusiasm, mainly as a team. I think that's what was able to help Montana State, hang in the game. I don't think it was anybody in himself playing a bad game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a collective thing, and Coach will make adjustments in game, but also when you look at it, he knows who Drake is, cool, calm, and collected. And Drake didn't even lose it. There was some interesting officiating and some text. We'll talk about it coming up. Next up on the text line, okay, I knew this one was coming in. 3763. Why can't Mason Falslev play QB for us?
Because he was a tight end.
Because he was a high school QB. We could use a quarterback with experience if he's up to the task, even if it's just until basketball season starts. Jalen, being a dual sport athlete is insane in high school, probably even insane in college sports, but your thoughts on somebody playing D1 football at the quarterback position where you're getting beat up all the time, and also playing, on the court in the spectrum where Mason also gets beat up all the time in there, it seems like. Your thoughts on Mason being a dual athlete, the Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders here in Cache Valley?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a cool accomplishment, but being like the good basketball player that he is and being a QB would be a lot. It's a lot to learn, a lot of time to put in. I think it'd be really hard. I think different positions, maybe it's doable. There's a few guys that have done it and played in the NBA after, played in the NFL and stuff like that have played maybe a different position, but I've never seen, a QB play it and then turn around and play basketball too. I think that would be very interesting. It would be cool, though, if he could pull something off.
It does bring somebody to mind. Will Holmes, professional baseball player, also doing really well. Of course, I'm not sure he's going to get back into healthy for the bowl season, but he's a sophomore, and man, he's an outstanding athlete. But doing it both, I have heard some basketball players playing tight end. Of course, Tony Gonzalez, the NFL legend, being one of those guys that did it. But there have been a couple here and there. I think the Utes had one a couple of years ago. But definitely, I get it. But Yeah. I mean, if Mason's opportunity to what he loved to do, obviously, is basketball, and he's well on his way as cementing himself as an Aggie legend. Next up on the text line, 8843. Be interested in your guys' thoughts on this one. Calhoun is such a better presence than Bronco Mendenhall. He seems to be demanded performance in holding these semi-professional paid athletes to account, and Bronco just seems to go through the motions, give Jerrod all the money. I'm going to kind of throw mine. I think it's a little bit apples to cucumbers on this one because the football team, you've got 80, 90 guys, and you've got the NIL spread out, and it's just this massive amount. Basketball a little bit closer, and the focus is going to be more because instead of just 90 guys split in the NIL pool, you got 15, and then you got stars, and you got transfers and stuff. So I did like what Coach Calhoun said. And hey, you guys got to put in the work. You're getting paid, and you've got to do this. But I think it's kind of apples to cucumbers. Jalen, I'll go with you first.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. Like you said, the funds are going to be spread a little bit different, but also like coaching styles, their personalities are just different. Like I feel like there's just different coaches that are laid back. It doesn't mean that they're not good coaches or not knowing what they're doing, but that's just their personality. That's how they coach. And some guys are more, enthusiastic. They're out there. And so I just think it kind of depends on their style and their personality as well. That's how I would put it. But yeah, I would agree with the NIL funds with you. But yeah, I mean, hold them accountable. They are getting paid. They are, little like semi-pro athletes. So I want to see them and hear them put the work in as well. So I do like holding them accountable. But at the same time, like when it comes to the coaches, I think it's just differences in personalities and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why we need to compare them at all, really, right? Because kind of like you're saying, Jalen, two different personalities, two completely different games. Bronco also has a locker room 12 times the size of Jerrod Calhoun. Like, there's a lot more guys out there, so it's harder for him to really go in and, pick out these individual guys and their performances and whatnot. He also knows his team better than any of us that are bloviating about sports on a regular basis that aren't directly inside the locker room on these game days, right? Because he, like Jerrod Calhoun, knows what's going to get the biggest response out of his guys. And Bronco has decided this year that it needs to be dealt with all internally. And in a year like this, I agree with him. I don't have any qualms with how he's gone about that. Do I wish he would show some emotion in certain circumstances? Sure. But, him not going out and grilling his guys in the postgame show, I don't think that that's really that much of a thing to worry about, especially, when we see Utah State gets a bowl bid. They're 6-6. They've taken steps forward this year. Calhoun, likewise, knows his guys very well. He knows that going out there and holding them accountable publicly is going to get the biggest reaction out of them because clearly they care more about what the media is saying, what the spread is saying, what we're saying on the radio, on TV, whatever, than they do about what he's saying right now. So he's going to call them out. He's going to get them to reflect on where their priorities are right now. And I'm sure that he's going to be able to get them back into shape. But it's just, it's different personalities, different coaching styles. And then the coaches know what's going to work best for their guys, right? And so they're doing what they think is best.
Coming up next on the text line to 9124, me watching Aggie football and basketball this weekend. A beautiful gif of Chris Farley driving the school bus in Billy Madison. Yes.
Oh, what a legend, man.
Yes,
I miss Chris Farley.
I miss Chris Farley, too. And also, I feel like I was driving that bus. 5662. We've got, after hearing Coach Calhoun on the postgame and coming up in 15 minutes, we will hear from Coach Calhoun's postgame presser, and I imagine it might be a little spicy, too. Not much more to say. Hope practice is torture. Tough road trip coming up. Guess we shouldn't join the Big Sky. Doesn't help the numbers, but a win is better than a loss. And I think we can all agree that. We've kind of hit that. 7994. Jalen, me and Stockton will talk about the officials and at length, and to actually air what we say about the officials, we would have to be on HBO after midnight. But this one I'm going to let you handle from 7994. Horrible game, horrible officiating. It's such a hard game to watch. I think every Aggie had Thanksgiving hangover.
Hangover in this town?
Yeah, it seems like Montana State U got every loose ball and hit every clutch three. I'm going to ask you about the officiating on that game because there were kind of some interesting calls, and then there were calls, and then there was a desert, and then they decided to pick up the whistle again. What did you think?
Yeah, it was different. I agree. There was a few times where there were things that should have been called that weren't, and then vice versa. And then my biggest thing is, like, I don't understand. They had the coaches challenge. I feel like both of the challenges weren't even correct, so I see like how they're trying to advance the game, let the coaches do challenges and stuff. But, if you're going to go review some stuff, I want them to make sure they get it correct and that kind of stuff. So the officiating was kind of weird, but I do agree with their text too. Like I said to you guys, I think Montana State also almost got every 50-50 ball. It did look like they had more energy for most of the night or day. Sorry.
Coming up, no, it's been a long day. It's been a long night, Jalen. Up next, we've got 868 or 8387. Respectfully disagree with Gio that any win will lower us a seed or keep us out. Chill. The metrics are kind of the reality, and we're so far away from the end that all we have now is speculation. And so that's kind of some of that. I wish I could chill, but this is what Jalen does not want me calling him at 2:13 in the morning this morning to be like, what do you think KenPom would be if we won by 4 more points? He doesn't want that. So I will try to chill. Also not a fan of score predictions before the game. It's a jinx.
Okay, you better tell every other media outlet in this country that because it certainly hasn't been a jinx for 7 games.
Everybody picks it, but I don't talk about consecutive free throw streaks. I don't talk about no hitters. I don't talk about field goal streaks. I don't talk about stuff like that. But the score predictions,
yeah,
and Cafe Sabor has the best burritos around, man.
There are some bylaws that you follow as a broadcaster, just some unspoken rules, right? One of them is you never talk about a perfect game in the middle of the game. You never talk about win streaks once the game is started. You never mention a coach's winning record in the last few minutes of the game. You don't talk about all that stuff. If you want to predict the score before the game, literally everyone across this country is doing that. Utah State's won 7-8 games now when we've been doing that. I don't think that's one of them. But trust me, if anyone's well-versed on sports jinxes and superstitions and everything, it's me because the Jukes family is full of superstition.
I also don't tug on Superman's cape or spit into the wind.
Nope. 089. Don't mess around with Jim, buddy.
Yep. 0891. I think I've lost 4 years of my life in the past 24 hours. Yeah. We know about dog years, but I think Aggie years might actually age us just a little bit. 0783. I also disagree with the earlier caller. While players and coaches have to look at spreads, you radio people can look at spreads because you don't have an obligation to focus the way the players and coaches do. Okay. One thing I noticed at the game is like the number of football players dragged their families to the basketball game. You do have to love when athletes' family members are willing to support USU sports and others when they're Yeah, that's cool. I saw a lot. In fact, there were a lot of recruits at the football game and things like that.
I see this all the time because I cover a lot of Utah State sports, right? So I'm there for football, basketball, but I'm also there for volleyball, for soccer, for softball, for gymnastics, for a lot of these sports that a lot of you guys aren't even watching. But football's there, basketball's there. Any team that's not playing, they're there. They support each other. It's all in with Utah State. It's something that I mention, I think, almost every time I call a game for Utah State volleyball or soccer, and even gymnastics and softball. You just see a lot of student athletes out there, and that's most of the support that a lot of these, non-rev sports are getting is from other student athletes because most Aggie fans are focused on football and basketball, and they don't really get into it after that, which you're missing out on a lot of Aggie sports if that's the approach that you're taking. Now, obviously, people have busy schedules. It's hard to keep up with everything, and I get paid to do it, so it's a lot easier for me to do it, but it's something that is just across the board so impressive about the Utah State community is the student athletes are so supportive of each other.
Yeah, Jalen, has that been something you experienced at your time? And also, it's a family thing. The Aggies are a family thing with you. Have you seen that kind of over the years? I'm sure there's been some ups and downs, but do you get that feeling when you're back on campus?
Yeah, for sure. And when I go up there, there's usually like alumni back at games. We still go to a lot of different games. Even when I was playing, I agree with Stockton. Like we were always at, gymnastics meet, volleyball match, soccer games, vice versa, So I agree. The support of the student athletes within each other, is awesome. And it's still that way. I still see that when I'm around. I still see alumni coming around. So I know that everybody that's, been through Utah State for the most part has had a good experience and supports each other.
Jalen, I got about 5 more texts, and then we'll let you go, and we'll listen to Coach Calhoun's press conference, probably coming up in about 7 minutes here on Aggie Call. Still time for you to get your comments in, 435-554-1175. Jalen, thanks for hanging out with us during the text. I really appreciate it. Up next,
for sure.
We got 4829. This is one of those games where we survive in advance. Very Katniss Everdeen Hunger Games-like vibes today. The team looked like a bunch of overpaid, overhyped kids that think they're better than they are. Completely unacceptable if you don't prepare correctly and play like we did tonight. This is how you lose to an Air Force team and take a resume-killing loss. This should and hopefully will be a major wake-up call. Now, I understand 48-29. You got some strong feelings there. But Jalen, Stockton, do you guys believe this will be a wake-up call? Stockton first?
I think based on what we heard from Jerrod Calhoun, absolutely. It's going to be a living hell for Utah State basketball players for the next 72 hours. They're probably practicing tomorrow morning and tomorrow night, I would imagine. There's going to be a lot of rebounding drills, a lot of cardio done. It's going to be tough, but it is going to be a wake-up call. Now, this text is a good segue into something that we haven't talked much about, but something I mentioned that I wanted to get to is humility for this team, right? Calhoun made a very, very clear point in his postgame with Scotty where he said, for these kids, they're getting paid a lot of money. There needs to be some humility there. There shouldn't be a lack of humility when there's that much money. And he talked about the fundraising from the community and all that stuff and the push that they've made. For him to, flat out say lack of humility, that's a big red flag for that team, for me, at least, because you start to get in your head that you're better than everyone that you play. You start to get in your head that there's going to be easy games. That's when you start to become a bad basketball team, and we saw that today. And Jalen, I want to ask you about this, too, as someone who's, been in locker rooms and been on the court for Utah State. We saw a prime example today of you cannot mentally take a day off when you play D1 basketball, and it seems like there's just been a little inflated ego for Utah State basketball over the last couple weeks that's contributed to that showing today. But what do you think, Jalen?
Yeah, I was pretty much just going to say the same thing. Like, every D1 team is good. Like, these guys are good. And even since, I played, like, the game has advanced and gotten so much better, and I can just see it when I watch college basketball on TV or I watch the NBA. Like, players and stuff have gotten so much better. So some of these guys are going, under-recruited or whatever it may be, and they end up at places and a lot of things that people don't think about. And this is just to touch on something different, is Utah State has a big following, has a big arena. Everybody knows about the Spectrum. They're a big-name team. You're going to get a lot of these guys, like, they want to come play and try to get paid at some point too. So you might get some of these guys from Montana State like, hey, I got to go and press and play well in these big stages where I'm presented, and I can almost get recruited by these other schools. Let's think about all the crazy
Patrick.
Stuff like that
What
goes
about
on in sports.
Patrick McMahon from Montana State? You think he didn't turn some eyes with 26 points tonight? And also exactly. And Brown with 18. I think you're absolutely right. He is every game, and that's something I didn't really think about. Every game is a showcase for all these other players that have eligibility left, and they'll be able to go. Stockton, I see you're about ready to explode. I know we're keeping an eye on the volleyball match. Moving up next to 13-26. We've got, let's see here. The Aggies played really bad transition.
We got to that one.
We did.
MJ Collins also should have touched the ball way more tonight. Arguable, but we interrupt this broadcast to let you know that Utah State is, again, Mountain West champions.
They just took down Colorado State. It was a sweep. The Lady Aggies are on the court in the Thomas and Mack celebrating right now.
Utah State played 20 games in the Mountain West this season. You want to know how many they won, JD?
All of them.
They won 20 of them.
All of them. So congratulations to Coach Rob and the Aggies. The A is blue again.
They haven't won since the second week, or they haven't lost since the second week of September against BYU.
Moving up next here to 8-9-1-4, a mad circus of a game. Thank the gods of chaos and hoops that we got free throws to drop. Because in the grand weird tapestry of this season, we can't let the easy ones slip into the abyss with fear and trembling. Agonzo. Thanks for texting and appreciate that. Been a while since we heard from you, sir. 6-7-5-2 was an ugly win, but the bottom line, they were more prepared to face us than we were. Could say we were even out-coached, and they are a better team than y'all are giving them credit. They barely lost to Colorado, Boise, and Stanford. going to go back to the fact that this roster is talented. It's the best recruiting class in Utah State history. We have a coach making millions of dollars. We have a huge investment of NIL, and saying that they're a good team and let's give them credit. I'm past the participation trophy part of this.
Listen, they're a decent team, and they're better than their record suggests because they did barely lose those Colorado, Boise, Stanford games, but they lost those games, and they lost today. They didn't finish the game. They didn't have the size or the
Japan
depth
barely,
to keep up at the very end.
Japan barely lost World War II.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that you can say in this situation, but listen, we made them look like a good team.
Yeah.
They're not as good of a team as they look today. Utah State's performance made them look better than they are. It's sure, they're a better team than their record suggests, but not by much. And they're just not as good of a team as some people are trying to tell me.
Jalen, I'm going to say true or false, but you can answer however you want. True or false, the Aggies actually played to the Montana State Bobcats level today in the Spectrum.
No, it's true for sure. It's a team that we should beat by 20 at least. Like you said, I'm a basketball player, so I know I can see good players. Like Montana State has good players. It's not like I said. It's not like it was a D3 or something that came in here and almost beat us. And they played Colorado State, who just beat Washington. Like they played Colorado close, who just beat Washington. Like they played good teams close, So I'm not surprised that they gave us a game. But yeah, it's a team and a game where, like you guys said, the investments that we're putting into the program and stuff like that, these are the games where we just got to make sure we go out there and take care of business. And like I said before the game, if you let teams like this hang around, get confidence, they can hang with you, and that's what we did. We let them hang around the whole game, and these are games that we have to put away. And I think we have to go make big statements because of this at a place like USF and at a place like Charlotte. Those are a few games as well that we can't, come down to the wire and almost lose. Those are games where we got to go make some statement wins.
7068, just a couple texts remaining, and we'll take a break and then get to Coach Calhoun. Jalen going to hang out with us for a couple more minutes. Appreciate him hanging on for the text part of this program. 7068, you're going to have games like this better now than in 2 months against San Diego State. This is the time to learn. I agree on that aspect of it. Also, San Diego State, not the superpower that everybody projected in the beginning of the year. And 4151 looks like, what do we got here? Was Perryman too injured to come back at the end of the game? I would have preferred Perryman over Allen at the end of the game. I didn't hear any injury news on Perryman. But I think in that case, and Jalen, I'll ask you, I think Coach Calhoun probably looking for the experience on the floor at the end of the game, even with Allen having kind of a rough game with those 5 turnovers still at the end in crunch time. You got to go with the horses that got you here, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just what it is. Experience, older, like I said, I personally Drake didn't play his best game, but I don't think it comes down to one player. I think it was just a overall team thing, and certain areas we have to work on, and that's all of it as a team. Like that's all of us, just situational turnovers and stuff like that. But as Perryman gets more experience and stuff like that, even as the season goes on, you might see him down the stretch in some games if he is potentially having a better game at the time. It's still very early in the season. He has a lot of growth, and he's going to make that growth. So I think as the season goes on, too, if he continues to improve, you'll see him at the end of some games as well.
Hey, Jalen, that's going to wrap it up for the text line, man. Appreciate you hanging out for us. Let us know where we can reach you and contact you because you're training the next generation of college student athletes and hoops here in Cache Valley. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so our website is nextlevel435.com. That'll have, everything that we do from trainings, teams, all that kind of stuff. Or you can email us. That's another great way is nextlevelbasketball435@gmail.com.
All right, my friend, you have a good rest of your Saturday evening, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Jalen Moore joins us for every KVNU Aggie game day and Aggie call for hoops this season. Grateful to have Jalen with us, and I know you've got something to say, but I'm also going to let you take that last text at the top before we jump on out to a break and come back with Coach Calhoun and I believe Carson Templin.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. 6'5", 2'1", volleyball leaves no doubt. Let's go ahead and just before we go to break, I want to give you some numbers on Utah State. Try to keep your tongue in your mouth when you hear this. BYU sweeps Utah State 3-0 on September 18th of this year. So that was about 10 weeks ago, I want to say. Since that game, Utah State is 21-0, and in the 75 sets they have played since that game, they are 60-15.
Wow.
They dropped 15 sets in their last 21 games.
And 3 of those were last night just to test my heart health.
Yeah.
Two of them
were last night. So out of the regular season, Utah State was, 54-13 in sets. So just ridiculous stuff. Utter dominance from Rob Nielsen. He's going to walk his way out of the Mountain West with another trophy. And with an unblemished record, you really just cannot do it better than that. So big shout out to Rob Nielsen. Hoping that we see an extension for him coming down the pipeline pretty soon.
I imagine they took care of Coach Manny. I know that they know how valuable Coach Rob it is to the program. And congratulations to the Lady Aggies for picking up a championship down. And they're getting ready for the championship presentation. They've got the championship hats on, the black shirts with the Mountain West Championship logo. It's nice to see the Aggies will take that trophy with them into the Pac-12 next year. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on KVNU Aggie Call. Come back with Coach Calhoun. We'll hear from Carson Templin and some final thoughts, and then we'll be out of here as the A is blue after the Aggies win 84-81 over Montana State University in overtime.
This Thanksgiving, Adams Wealth Advisors is grateful for you, our clients, and our community. It's our sincerest wish that as you host or travel to meet loved ones, safety follows you wherever you may be. Adams Wealth Advisors is here to help you secure your financial future so you can focus on what truly matters. Happy Thanksgiving from Adams Wealth Advisors, building your legacy and protecting your peace of mind. Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com to learn more.
Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning and Advanced Fireplace and Stove want to help local families this year with a food drive. Drop your canned foods off at the Advanced Fireplace and Stove showroom across from DI or hand them to one of their technicians when they come to your home for a repair. The Advanced team will match all contributions and offer the first month free when joining the Advanced Comfort Club. Find out more at advancedheating-ac.com. Donate to the Advanced Canned Food Drive for local families.
Addiction is something in this day and age I think all of us have been touched by in some form or way. For me, 14 years ago, I lost my father to an opioid overdose. Addiction is something that whether you're struggling with it personally or you're watching someone you love struggle with it, it can feel like there's no hope. If you've lost hope or you're scared for someone that you love and you don't see hope on their path, call Renaissance Ranch today. You can learn more at renaissanceranch.net. They have a location right here in Logan.
Over the past few years, strong and crazy weather patterns have battered various parts of the country. Northern Utah and southern Idaho are not immune from its share of wild weather. Be prepared for power outages with a Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. They are your local source for Generac sales and service. Generac keeps you in control when bad weather strikes. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning and Advanced Fireplace and Stove want to help local families this year with a food drive. Drop your canned foods off at the Advanced Fireplace and Stove showroom across from DI or hand them to one of their technicians when they come to your home for a repair. The Advanced team will match all contributions and offer the first month free when joining the Advanced Comfort Club. Find out more at advancedheating-ac.com. Donate to the Advanced Canned Food Drive for local families.
This Aggie broadcast is brought to you by The Sportsman, a world-class shopping experience on Main Street on News Talk KVNU, the home of the Aggies.
Welcome back to Aggie Call on 102.1 FM, 610 AM, and to Aggie fans around the world at kvnutalk.com. About 22 minutes before 6 o'clock, that A Blue for several reasons. The Aggies picking up an overtime win over Montana State, a really close one, 84-81 in overtime. And also the ladies down in Vegas taking care of business. The volleyball team winning the Mountain West tournament, and they're accepting their awards right now and posing for some pictures with the Mountain West trophy. Several members of the team made the All-Mountain West team. Of course, check out kvnutalk.com for the full list of the awards. And, of course, I think Jason Walker on Cache Valley Daily will also have a recap. And speaking of Jason Walker from the Full Court Press, he sat down with Coach Calhoun's post-game presser and got it for us. And here it is on Aggie Call.
Your boys really stepped up and hit free throws there when it really mattered. MJ's last two in regulation and then 8 break in overtime.
Yeah, I was really proud of those guys in those moments. I thought they did an excellent job of staying focused the last 4 or 5 minutes. But credit Montana State, great team. I've set it for 4 days. Very well coached. That guy's won at every level. I really respect coaches that actually have to climb the ladder, right? And they're not just given jobs. He's won at every level. And he should have really been 4-0 against higher level teams. So they're going to be good. Really, really good team.
What was the talk like in the locker room afterward?
Horrific. Yeah, I told the truth. We had 3 bad practices, Jason, to be honest with you. Thanksgiving was a nightmare. Friday got slowly better. I don't know what it was. I think it was a lack of humility. Sometimes when things are going so great, right, there's going to be hard times in games, and you kind of find out what you're made of. But the important thing is hopefully our guys will listen a little bit better in huddles. I thought our execution, our ATOs was horrific. But give those guys credit, man. Montana State's good, but we got to be better in our prep. And that starts with us just either bringing them back after Thanksgiving dinner or going a couple practices a day if we have to.
It seemed like there were several times where you started to get some momentum, but yeah, you talked about Montana State just not ever giving up.
They're good. They're really, really good. That's a difficult matchup for any team, any level. Like I said, their record. The problem is with kids nowadays, they look at records, like instead of like looking at actual game film and really studying teams, they look at records. Little do they know they've probably made that group there has probably made about $240,000 in guarantee games, right? So you go at Colorado, at Boise State, at Stanford, and now here, they're in every game, right? So like now they have experience. You get better with experience, and hopefully our guys can do that, right? But our humility is not there at times. You've got to be humble. You've got to be willing to go to work every day. And in this era, that's hard. That's honestly the hardest thing we have to do as coaches is try to humble our guys and educate our guys and, keep them where they need to be because, this world we're living in, they're told a lot of things,
Do you feel like you had a win in regulation on that last awkward play, or did you realize it was after?
Which play was it? There were so many crazy plays.
Mason went down and just tossed it up.
Yeah, he would have been wide open. He looped under. Really what it was a read. So what we did was we're bringing Mason off a pin down, off KT's pin down. And if you go back and watch the tape, he took the wrong route. He went underneath. I think he should have went over the top or vice versa. And he would have had a clean lane. But he got rushed, made a horrific read in a really, really tough moment and spinned, right? I told him in the timeout, you don't spin at the end of the game. They're going to swipe at the ball. You catch the ball from 15 and good players can get to their right hand. If they help, you got MJ in front of you. Really, really bad ending there on that last play.
Just talk about the physicality in the first half. Montana State really kind
of. I think they're a +9. Yeah, we got manhandled, right? So that's probably the biggest disappointment tonight. We have been playing pretty physical. There's stats in games, right? Like, turnovers. To me, that's your concentration level. Rebounding is your toughness level. Not very good today.
They really kind of bounced back in the second half.
Yeah, I think we ended up being -6, but -6 is not very good. But yeah, you're right. In the second half, we were better.
One set in this game, you were, I think, 14 of 32 on shots at the rim. That had been a strength for you guys.
Yeah, missed every shot, Jason. Yeah, at point blank layups, that was the frustrating part. I give our fans a lot of credit. I thought they willed us. I'm not sure where a lot of the herd members were. I saw a lot of absent seats. I thought today was the public. I thought the public really stood up. I heard those people behind us
And they carried us, and I haven't said that since I've been here. Usually it's the herd, but I really respect the herd, but there was a lot of empty seats tonight.
Just from a schematic kind of standpoint, first half took a lot of threes, struggled to get inside. Second half only shot 4 threes, but had 26 points. What did you change?
We just couldn't really get anything going around the rim, so we really stopped throwing it in there. I mean, Gary Clark was really kind of non-existent. Tucker Anderson, I mean, the reality is if he doesn't get tougher, he's got to come off the bench. He doesn't really do anything defensively, rebounding the ball. We got to get him more shots, I would say, but he's got to impact the game in some way, or we will go big, or we'll give Adlin some more minutes. I thought that was a good game for him and Elijah. That environment, those close games when you're fighting through it. And then they're just understanding their urgency. Like they don't know anything. So it's like the urgency every day you have to prep to play Montana State or South Florida or Charlotte. Young guys just don't get it, like they just have no comprehension, freshmen, how hard this is. Like this is hard every day. Like it's hard. Being a student athlete, prepping for games, like it's not easy. So you got to work at it every day.
So it's encouraging where you've had a couple of these games, like after Weber State, after this one, where there's a lot of
both teams, yeah.
It's encouraging, like even in games where maybe you haven't played so well, your team keeps coming through with wins.
Yeah, I think it's good to win. Obviously, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but like at our level, our margin of error is very small, right? Like the reality of it is, you got to win a whole bunch of non-league games. You got to win a whole bunch of league games, and you got to play the game the right way. Right. I think if we didn't get manhandled on the glass and we didn't have 3 bad practices, I'd be a little more positive. It's hard to be positive when you basically warn your team 3 days into this, so that's, I think, the discouraging part about this game. And I don't want to take anything away from Montana State. They outplayed us. Like they probably deserved to win. I mean, they dominated us on the glass.
I think it was encouraging. Mason kind of at the end of that game made a lot of big plays, not even scoring, but forcing some turnovers, coming up with some big steals. Just how important is it to have kind of a veteran player like that?
Yeah, I mean, I said all along, like he's got to be the preseason player of the year. Up for player of the year. I mean, we spent a lot of money on this guy. Like that's just a bottom line. Like this is a salary cap. This is a different deal than we've ever seen, right? So like he's got to go get 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But he's got to listen in timeouts. He's got to make the right reads in key moments, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the best players in the league. So he should make those plays. And I thought, like, he was quicker to the ball than those guys at the end of the game. He willed us, right? But he's got to will us in the practice. He's got to will us on Thursday and on Friday and on Saturday. He's got to set the tone every day. He hasn't done that yet. That's his step. How does he take a group of guys? Like I said, and if he decides to play or not, he gets in the real world. He's going to be a leader. You got to be able to take guys and get them to where you want to go, right? He struggles with that. He needs to come out of the shell and be able to do that. But yeah, he and KT, I thought, won the game. I mean, Drake really struggled. I mean, it's called like it is. He was 0 for 7, worst game all year. He really, really struggled.
Coach Calhoun's post-game thoughts. I asked in a poll, I said, hey, how spicy do we think Coach Calhoun will be? Checking the results of that poll right now, Stockton. He was definitely spicy out there. My question was, win or loss, how spicy will Coach Calhoun's post-game presser be? Coming in at third place, Carolina Reaper with 12% of the vote. The Trinidad Scorpion coming in at 37.5%. And taking 50% of the vote so far, Tombstone Ghost Pepper. Pretty spicy from our guy.
Yeah. I think the only way it could have been spicier if he was yelling. Wasn't shy about calling out his guys. We had a couple texters bring this up, but Drake just had a flat-out bad game. His only points were from the free throw line, turned the ball over 5 times, 3 fouls. Did have 9 assists, but those 5 turnovers really kill that flow, and had 3 steals as well, but the only guys that really are exempt from some of that criticism are Mason Falslev and MJ Collins for what they were able to do. Carson Templin as well for what he did defensively at the end of the game and for the points that he was able to put up in the late stretch. But none of them are fully exempt. Just not a great game. nothing to be excited about, nothing that you should be proud of today for Utah State basketball.
The Estes is probably busy tonight.
Yep. It's going to be full tonight, and it's not going to be because of the volleyball team because they're coming home with a trophy.
They're coming home with hardware.
They've tied Utah now for the second most volleyball titles in the Mountain West history. I think first place is going to be Colorado State because of the wagon that they were for 10, 15 years, but Utah State just took them down in the championship game. So it's, really good time to be a Utah State Aggie, unless you were at the football game last night. But even so, we've had some therapeutic wins to wash that off the palate.
Absolutely. And here's Carson Templin's post-game comments after the win over Montana State.
Just open it right for questions. How does it feel after a game like that? Maybe you were expected to win by more, push really hard into a tough game. What are the feelings like after a win like that?
I mean, we're happy to win always. Montana State's a good team. Credit to them. I mean, they battled us. They played really hard. I think, they out rebounded us, so we're not happy about that. But we definitely learned some things from that game, and we'll get better next week. But we're happy with the win. Not too happy with how we played, but on to the next.
You think you had one there in regulation after that. Was that a pass from Mason, first of all, or was that an interval?
I think he was just trying to get on the rim, or get it to me. I don't know. I thought it was going to count, which I would have liked because then it would have just been done. But we got it done in the end, so take it.
How much did Coach talk to you about? He talked to us, the media, a little bit before about this is a really good team. Can't overlook them, and a lot of things just going into this because they had so many close losses. That's so many good opponents. How much was that talked about before?
A ton. Coach told us all week Montana State's a real team. They've taken, I think, at least 3 Power 4 teams to the end of the game. Boise end of the game. So we knew they were a good team. I don't think we underlooked them, but our preparation's got to be better. I think we're a better team than them. They're a great team, but we should have played better than what we did tonight.
What are kind of the merits of playing a game like this, very physical, where they really push you early in the season? What does that do for you guys as a team? What are the good things that can come from that?
Playing a physical team is always good. Mount West is a very physical league, so it prepares us for that. And, just getting this experience of going to an overtime game and, having a fight like this, it prepares you for down the line of the season. As much as you don't want to be in those situations, you have to take what you can from it and learn from it. So, yeah, it is a good thing in some ways, I would say.
So free throws were pretty sketchy there. I think you guys were shooting like 50% and then made the last 10 in a row, including MJ's there to tie it up right at the end of regulation and then all 8 in overtime. Were you confident in your teammates?
Yeah, I'm always confident in all my teammates. Sometimes free throws just don't fall. We work on them every day. Everyone shoots them, but we got to make them next game, man. We got to make free throws. They're free points.
Because you, Mason, and MJ, especially in that second half, you guys really took control of the game, kind of willing your teams. What kind of change, or did anything change in that second half where you realized, hey, we got to buckle down and start making plays?
Yeah, second half is winning time. For me, I feel like I like second halves. My body's already warm. I'm into the game. And Mason, same thing. He's been doing this. Me and Mason won a lot of games together past 2 years. So I think it's just a thing of maturity. MJ knows too. He's been on some good teams. He's an amazing player. So yeah, you got to buckle down in the second half to win these games. And we need to bring that intensity in the first half too, for sure.
You kind of mentioned the rebounding overall, but especially in the first half, you kind of dominated the boards offensively, defensively, it didn't matter. But then the second half kind of flipped and you guys controlled that. Just what did you change? What was kind of the discussion here?
It's always the emphasis for us to win the rebounding battle. When we saw we were down 9 at halftime, we were frustrated. That's definitely something that's on me. That's on Gary. We got to box guys out, make sure they can't get rebounds, and we got to get on the offensive glass. I think it was 2 offensive rebounds for us to not 10 for them in the first half, which is ridiculous. So we got to be better.
The number 1 for them, Patrick, man, he had a pretty good game. Worse, it was hot, then cold, and then kind of in the middle toward the end where he still ended up with 26 points. What were some of the adjustments you did trying to limit him?
We knew he likes to get to his right hand. We knew he likes to post guards. So in the first half, we were kind of doubling from the wing. Second half, we started doubling from the baseline. I think that kind of slowed him down, but man, he's a heck of a player. Credit to Pat. He gave us his best tonight.
Had you met Darius's little brother before?
Yeah, I met him a few times before.
What was that like playing him?
It was cool. I've kind of known a few of those Montana State guys through Great and Darius, and Xavier Bishop's over there as a coach. I'm pretty tight with him, so it was kind of a big game for everybody. Sprinkle coaching at Montana State and Utah State. It's kind of like a rivalry. Utah State, Montana State now, so it was a big game, and they came to play. And we didn't bring our best basketball, so yeah, maybe better.
What was that last kind of minute of overtime where you guys pulled ahead by a couple sessions and Montana State kept hitting three-pointers, some kind of crazy three-pointers where like it wouldn't go away?
You just got to deal with adversity, and we did. They made some tough shots. MJ had some good contests on Jay Miller, and the shots were just falling. And you just got to go to the next play and make sure you contest every three. And if they make it, they make it. If they miss, they miss.
Carson Templin's post-game thoughts as the Aggies pick up the win over Montana State. A little bit closer than I think everybody would like, but it sounds like Coach Calhoun's going to have the guys dialed in, and Carson sounds like they know what's coming up, and they didn't play its best, but they still got the win and move on to the next one. Stockton, final thoughts here on Aggie Call.
Yeah, just kind of ugly weekend, ugly day, kind of.
I'm sorry you got to look at me across this the whole time, too.
Hey, your face is the prettiest thing I've seen all weekend, so it's...
man. We might be a little punchy.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. I'm going to go work on a bunch of school stuff over the next couple of days. Everyone's going to reset, revive themselves, put some years back on the life expectancy. But when we're back Thursday, I am expecting a belt to A for USF. I think that they're going to get run out of the gym the next couple days, and they're going to be too scared to win by less than 20 on Thursday.
And we'll be with you at 4 o'clock, I believe, for Aggie Game Day kicking off, and we'll have tip at 5 o'clock here locally. All the action here on KVNU. And for Stockton Jukes, Jalen Moore, I'm J.D. Walker. Thanks for allowing us to cover the Utah State Aggies. We have such a blast. Up and down, left and right, win or not. I tell you what, this team has taken years off my life, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I cannot believe we're sitting here in November.
It's not a bad gig when these are our biggest problems to worry about, right?
It is kind of nice. And thank you to everybody for interaction, the phone calls and the text lines. Until next time, have a good night. Have a great Saturday. Be safe. And that A is blue.
Utah State broadcast has been a presentation of News Talk KVNU and the Cache Valley Media Group, the heritage home for the Aggies.